Hi everybody, what's Gucci? And today I want to be talking about the character type. Now, as I showed in the last video, I showed you about integer types and floating point types, which are numbers which are represented by integers and numbers which you need to represent with decimals. Now I want to talk about how you can represent characters or single letters in C. Now, obviously, all I've showed you up to this point is basically how to represent numbers. But obviously, there must be a way to represent strings. And a string is known as words or characters put together. A string is like could be a paragraph, or it could be a sentence, or it could be just one word, or it could be just a single thing. But in other high-level languages, a string is already defined. But in C, there was not a string type. There was only a char type. And you can manipulate to make that a string. But today I only want to show you how to deal with characters, which is a single letter or symbol. So as you can see here, I'm assigning a variable char, which is short for character, and I'm going to assign it to, let's make it A. And notice the single quotes, they must be single quotes, double quotes will not work. And I can assign it to A or B or C or capital A or anything like that. And what I'm going to do here is in this printf statement, I'm going to print that out, and I'm going to print this out with %C, and that is the symbol for printing out converting whatever I put in the printf function as a character into C. So when I print this out, hopefully it will print out lowercase a, and it does. Now, one thing really interesting about the character types is that they are manipulated as ASCII values, which stands for ASCII, stands for the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. And it's a 7-bit code capable of representing 128 characters. Now, basically, what does all that mumbo jumbo slumbo mean? It means that characters are also represented as binary numbers. So they're represented as a low integer value. So what does this mean is that characters can represent a value from 0 to 128 as the ASCII table does. So what does this mean? It means that I can combine characters with integers. So as you can see here, I'm going to take the character A and add 1 to it, and that hopefully will give me a lowercase b, because I'm going to look at the lowercase a, which is a binary value, and then I'm going to add 1 to that. And let's run it. And we get a lowercase b. And if I did 2, hopefully we'll get C. And as you could see, we could go on there and note I could do capital A as well. This always takes a little while, and I get a capital C. Something also I could do is, instead of using the %C command to print it out as a character, I could print it out as an integer, and I won't get any errors or anything. And I can know that the integer capital C is represented as 67 on the ASCII chart, which hopefully I can bring up or splice into the video at the end. You can easily Google it. But the ASCII character is what the common, like, English letters and symbols usually you see on your keyboard. They all can be represented. So this is pretty important to remember that characters can be used as ends. So simply, if I want to use I can use the incrementer operator. So A plus 2 gives me capital C, and then increment it again, I should get capital D when I do that. Or I do get capital D, but I need to put it as a character. And I do get capital D, and I can do the minus operation as well. So A minus C. I actually don't know what's before the capital letters, so we'll see what we get here. We get an and symbol, so an @ symbol for the internet. And let's see if we go back 3, maybe we get some weird question mark or something. We do get a question mark. Wow, I guessed that. I did not know that, guys. But you can definitely look this up on the table, which I will splice in at the end of this video. I guess I've now decided, because I do these on the fly, which isn't a good thing. Something you also can do is you can also do a space, which is just like that. And obviously this will give us something after the space, because I incremented it, but it's a quotation mark. And if I print this out, we may not see anything because it's a space, and the space is blank. Can I highlight it? I think I can, yeah, so I highlighted the space. And again, if I printed that out in integer form, it will show us what an integer is represented in the ASCII value. It's 32. what a space is represented as in the ASCII value, which is from 0 to 128. And so that's about all I have to say about strings. It's a pretty, not strings, characters, chars as they're properly preferred to as well. And just remember, you can do basic arithmetic and math operations just as you can with an integer, but you have to be careful not to go below 0 or above 128, or things can get ugly. So, yes, that's about all I have to say, guys. I'll see you later. Hi guys, I'm back again, and I just want to show you the ASCII table. I googled this, and this was the second link to come up after the Wikipedia page. And as you can see here, it has decimal, hexadecimal, oct, which is base 8, and HTML, how to do an HTML, but we're just interested in decimal as I showed you guys. Capital A responds to 65, 66 responds to B, so if I want to say a char equals 66, I'm basically assigning it to capital B, and the lowercase letters start at 97 all the way and end at 122. And as you can see, I remember space was 32 as I showed in the video, so there you go, and 33 is question mark. And right behind A, which I showed, is the @ symbol, and right below that is the question mark. So there you go. If you ever need a reference, you can look at these. You don't have to memorize this. It's just good to know. And if you forget, you can just type in the symbol and then print that out in the integer format like I showed you to figure out what the ASCII value is. This, hopefully, I can show in later videos on how to build a string, which is more than just one character. You can only, with the character symbol, you can only make one character. So I can only use one of these symbols to store in the char variable. I can't make a word or anything else. I can just do an A, B, or C, or D, or any of these symbols, but just one of them. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great day.